Yeah, my name's Natasha. Thank you again for being here. And I'll be talking about how hemp is so cool and how I feel it might just save humanity. And in the end, I'll share a little bit about my vision for the future. And it'd be really great if, because I'm really new to this crypto thing, a lot more about this hemp thing. So it'd be great to get your feedback on how I can, leverage this technology for what I'm thinking about. So yeah, just a little bit about me before we get into hemp. So I am 35 and I love to travel. I love exploring to new places, new culture. And I own a business with my husband, and we have the privilege to be able to work from anywhere. And so we try our best to always find a place we can work that is close to nature. So for example, last year we were spending 5 months working on the beach on Zanzibar, and that's really kind of gotten me to really love nature even more. Like the more time I spend closer to nature, the more I love it. And I'm from Bangkok, Thailand, and we don't really have a lot of nature here. But because of Munich, I moved to Munich because my husband, and because of Munich, it's really, really spurred my love for nature, especially the Alps. So yeah, Munich nature, I just really love. And I'm really grateful for that because it's actually led me to this obsession, because when I'm more open to nature, then I'm like realizing actually, I love this plant and I'm kind of quite crazy about this plant called hemp. So why am I so obsessed about it? I think we have to zoom out a little bit here. And obviously what's mankind's biggest problem right now is climate crisis. And there's so many angles to this, right? Like sea level rising, CO2 level going up, but these are just results, and these are just kind of the impacts or the symptoms of our actions, of mankind's action, But what's really the number one cause is fossil fuel. It's the single biggest thing that is the biggest threat. And why is that? Because we're really, really reliant on fossil fuel right now. Everything is fueled by fossil fuel, our cars, our everything. And I mean, it's beyond just that, right? I mean, only 46% of that goes into gasoline to power our cars and stuff. But beyond that, like everything around us is made out of this fossil fuel, because everything is made out of plastic. Like it's really, really shocking. If you look around us, like you just try to see if there's anything without plastic. There's plastic everywhere. Like even in our clothes, like you can't get anything without plastic anymore. And it's just really like, why, right? Why are we using so much plastic? And obviously we have to stop plastic in order to kind of prevent humanity from kind of messing up the earth even more. But how, right? When it's like legit everywhere, like it's, we're infested in society. It's this fossil fuel based society, and we need to change that. So, but how? Like, we really love what we have built so far. We love the convenience, the comfort of our home, the cars and everything. I love flying. Like nature is still a big part of my life, but I like to fly to new nature around the world, like I love all these convenient stuff. And we obviously can't go back to the Stone Age time where, we just lived just like with nature and that was it, right? So how? So I was, oops, what is this? Sorry. Question to ponder. What if we could replace fossil fuel with a kinder alternative while retaining the comfort of modern society? And what if there was a plant that could do that? So I suggest or propose a hemp-based society instead of fossil fuel-based society. And this is really exciting, but actually, before we get into that, what is hemp really? Can you get high from hemp? Is it a drug? A lot of people know, but there's still a lot of confusion around cannabis sativa, this plant, and between hemp and cannabis. Essentially, hemp and cannabis are kind of like sisters, and these two sisters are not the same. One is kind of like, more chill, and the other one is kind of like likes to get high, so the differentiation is that hemp has it's non-psychoactive. It's heavy CBD and very low THC, which is the stuff that gets you high. And so no, it doesn't get you high. Just a quick note there. Why can't I use this thing? And it's also been with us since a very, very long time, since the beginning of civilization. We've been using this plant since beyond the Mesopotamian time, which was the cradle of society, right? And beyond that, even. So yeah, it's Chinese ancient history. But what's interesting is that just not so long ago, the United States was using a lot of hemp, really. They were, during World War II, they were actually growing so much hemp, or they needed to. The people were asked to grow hemp. They had to grow hemp, and that was their tax, part of their tax, because the military needed hemp as a supply for textiles, or the uniform and the robes for things to fight with. And another fun fact, actually, the United States Constitution was actually signed and it's made out of hemp. And the earlier flags of the United States actually hemp. So actually, the United States quite a big hemp society back then, before things got bad. And there are so many different uses of this plant, like 50,000 uses, they say. But I mean, yeah, like you can make medicine, paper, fuel, everything textile. You can build houses, build structures, build the whole world. And see, plastic. And if there's all these plastics in our society, in our homes right now, we just replace it with hemp. That's already something. Something that's really cool, that in 1941, Henry Ford, he actually made a car that was made out of hemp and also run from hemp ethanol. So it was 100%, well, not 100%, it was a lot of hemp in there, and it was 10 times stronger than steel. So it is possible since 1941. And it's really good. You can use all parts of the plant, from the flowers to the seed to the fibers to the stalk to the leaves to the roots. It's like super good. It's good for the people. For example, seeds. The seeds, like we eat, my husband and I, we eat the seeds every day now in all meals, because it's just so nutritious. It's not only like tasting really good, it's like really nutty, super nice. But it's like the most nutritionist thing ever. Like by weight, hemp seed contains as much protein as beef. And it's basically the only plant-based protein that has it's like the full complete protein source with 21 amino acids. And it even has more omega than salmon. So it's really, really good. And you don't have to kill fish or, do some sketchy stuff in the fishing industry. Anyways, that's something. It's also good for the earth. Like hemp can be grown anywhere. That means any country can have it from anywhere. You can have your stuff ready, your material ready to make anything you want within 120 days. So it's a very, very fast growing plant. That means you can produce more stuff really quickly, and it's a plant, right? So very, very low impact, actually the opposite of low impact, because as it grows, not only that it kind of aerates the soil and makes the soil healthier for the next round of crops, it also takes in the toxins from the from the soil. So it cleans the soil from, like, they were in Chernobyl area, they were planting hemp to clean soil. And at the same time, it sequesters CO2 from the atmospheres. And it does that more efficiently than trees. So it's, as you're growing it, it's cleaning out the soil, the ground, and it's cleaning out the air from the earth of our human-made impact. So it's really, really amazing. It's here to help. So yeah, how does my vision look like for the future? So I see a future where, because right now, okay, what is right now? Right now, it's human and technology kind of, coexisting quite well now. But I feel like what we're lacking is nature, is this part of nature. It's kind of like it's either or, right? You do business or you do some NGO environmental stuff. It's changing, but still the mass majority of the thinking is kind of, I feel still that way, it's going that way. So I see a future where obviously human and technology still continue to exist like this and get even more so. And nature coming in too. Why does it have to be exclusively human and technology? Nature as well. So, but I see a future where we include what is really good about our current situation, our current society, but then let go of the stuff that wasn't good. For example, fossil fuel, using it everywhere. Let go of that and then integrate more of nature. For example, use the same stuff to make, sorry, not the same stuff, make oil, do the same stuff, but replace it. So you can still do the same stuff. I had a picture here, it's gone. So how do I kind of see hemp playing a role? So like a day in a life, for example, you might in the future live in a house, your house would be made out of hemp. Your furnishing could be made out of hemp. You wake up in a hemp bed, and instead of taking your pharmaceutical opioid medicine or supplements, you might take some CBD oil and you add some food, some hemp seeds into your food. You get into your self-driving car that is made out of entirely hemp that was grown nearby you, next door in a local farm, and then you get your gas to fuel your car from hemp. So here you have decarbonized your impact by a lot, because the more you use hemp, the more benefits it is, right? Because it's pulling out the stuff, it's sequestering stuff, and when you turn it into products, the carbon is captured, it's not released back into the atmosphere. So you're cleaning up the earth, kind of helping reverse climate crisis slowly in a way. I mean, if there's enough mass, this could help reverse it, right? And obviously, you tokenize this, so everyone in the ecosystem gets value. So that is the way, right? You have to integrate nature and technology. And the way towards hemp societies is slow, it's coming, but there are some companies doing that. For example, Hemp Earth, they have built the world's first plane made from and powered by hemp. So kind of like the Ford car, but they're doing that with plane, which I find really cool. And there's some people making like kit home made from hemp blocks. So imagine like you really can build the whole city made out of this plant. So yeah, market is growing, definitely. And so for me, how is it for me? Because I kind of really want to live in a hemp-based society, and I can't change the society as a whole. Like I'm not ready to wait. I don't know. Actually, it's not so long, but hopefully not so long. Hopefully we'll be in this lifetime, but I can't change that, right? So what I can change is myself and my direct surrounding, because I want to live a hemp-based lifestyle. And I'm kind of unconsciously been starting this, but now I'm actually just conscious about it because I'm thinking about this talk, that I'm kind of trying to live a hemp-based society. I've been trying to do that for a while. I eat hemp seeds in every meal, add that, CBD, and now even cosmetics, like I make my own kind of not cosmetics, but like moisturizer and all these things now with hemp. And I find that my skin's way better. I want to now wear hemp clothes only. I bought a bunch of hemp fabrics to make my own clothes, and I'm actually wearing a hemp sweater right now, and it's pretty cool. And the next step is that we have this piece of land in Thailand, and there's a river going by it. It's really lovely. It's really green, really serene. And I'm gonna build a hemp house, or the first hemp house in Thailand. that is made out of hemp as much as possible. And then my plan is then to kind of expand that and invite more people and basically open a resort, so that people can try living a hemp-based kind of in a hemp-based society, even though it's just a tiny little resort, but I'll create the experience in that everything is hemp. Just so you see that, you know, it can be very harmonious and not bad at all to live a hemp-based society. So yeah, come experience how a more harmonious lifestyle with nature could feel like in 2023 in Thailand. Yeah, thank you for listening.
Thanks a lot for this very beautiful, inspirational talk, Natasha. It's really cool that you just said, hey, I've never spoken, but this is what I'm going to do because I want to stand up for what I care about and bring more awareness about beautiful magic plant hemp into our consciousness. What are, you know, in your view, the questions that you need to solve in order to make this vision become a reality? You already have this piece of land, and what are now the things, the considerations that you and your husband are actually currently thinking about?
Are you talking more like the tokenization of it, or more like the actual building of it?
Actually, the building of it. I understand the tokenization things. These are still topics that you are early in exploring. More like, how would that end product look like? Because tokenization in the end is just a different way of financial flows, right? It's a technology driven way of business flow modeling. But what are we actually modeling here? What's the bigger end product?
What's the bigger end product? Yeah. I mean, I haven't even like dared to think about it myself yet. So this is going to be quite interesting. So I imagine that this is a hotel that is made out of hemp, just the structure, but also not just that. So basically what I'm trying to do is to showcase the different use cases of hemp via creating experiences in a hotel. So, you know, by creating the experience of like, how is it to live in a society where the ingredients of the stuff are not plastic? So, you know, it's probably just going to feel like a normal hotel, but like, you know, the furnishing, everything is like made out of hemp. And then you go into the restaurant and food has more hemp ingredients instead of like, you know, taking out shit ingredients. And then there's a spa that has like CBD spa, or, you know, and then there's a shop where we sell like all kinds of hemp made products. And then afterwards could be extended into different brands. I don't know what if that's answering, because I can't articulate what it is yet. I feel like it's a bit too early for me, I think.
Yeah, we have a question here from Ignacio, who's asking, how can we actually foster a legal movement towards depenalizing hemp? How is actually the situation over where you are, and what has been your experience?
Hemp is now quite legal in a lot of places. In Germany, it is completely legal. In the States, it's also completely legal. In Thailand, where we're going to be building, is also legal. It's just the sister cannabis is not yet legal. And I see that, you know, the cannabis is obviously kind of, the association with the sister plant has very kind of harmed the perception of it, but hemp is actually legal now. So we don't really need to foster it, but what we might need to do is foster a kind of like perception shift in the, you know, association with the drug. I don't know, I mean, it shouldn't even be a drug, but association with cannabis.
Yeah, maybe you can also share, like in the next 3-4 minutes, your story as an entrepreneur and CPO of a company that actually aligns saving costs and going green. You know, your personal story of how does it feel to build a business? What kind of internal growth patterns you've undergone since you became a founder, and what are things that you would want every female entrepreneur, every entrepreneur actually to know.
Yeah. I've never even asked myself that, because I never honestly feel that I'm an entrepreneur, even though I've been doing this with my husband for the past 2 years. I've been kind of just secretly feel that like it's his and I'm just supporting it. And I think that is the struggle, right? So that's, I don't see it yet. So I'm really just supporting him. I'm like, but it's not like that as he's shaking his head. Because I feel like my passion is in this hemp. So whatever business I am creating, I am taking them as lessons and learnings along the way, because I'm not done. I've always been a consultant. I've always been on agency side. So I've never really started anything on my own. But if I want to start this thing, I have to learn how to start things on my own. So I see it as a kind of really big degree or, school of business here. Yeah, of starting something on your own, of the inner journey of also kind of accepting and seeing that I am an entrepreneur or something. And maybe a lot of women have this whole kind of imposter syndrome, that like whatever you're doing is still kind of not good enough, but it was not me, that kind of stuff. I think a lot of women can relate to that maybe. So I guess maybe for the female entrepreneurs, I guess believe in yourself more, but it's hard to say because I'm not even there yet, right? So I'm not one to preach about that, but I'm aware of it, at least working on it.
Question from Alexandre.
Yeah, usually. So he's asking if hemp-based products are 100% made of hemp, or does any other raw materials are required? So it's like petroleum, right? It's like oil. You can use it raw, like you can use it to fuel a car right away, or I guess you have to refine it, but you can use it as is, or you can also change it and work it with other materials in order to transform into different plastic, into countertops, into whatever, right? So it's the same thing with hemp here. Like hemp can be, the different parts can be used raw, can be turned to different things, but raw. But when you also mix, for example, I can't think of one, but you can, for example, make hemp battery instead of hemp lithium. So there you obviously mix it with other stuff, right? And obviously with building material like concrete, you mix hemp with some lime-based stuff and water. So you do mix other stuff to get concrete, but at least you cut out concrete, which is really, really bad for the environment. It's the whole process of concrete creation is super, super bad. So we can cut out concrete. But yes, so it can be raw or can be mixed, depending on how complex the things are. Yes, thank you for the question.
Any question you have to the audience? Ashari actually is saying there might be scalability issues.
Yeah, here's what I was also thinking, because it's really depending on the supply, on the farmers, right? So if gonna have to definitely involve the farmers somehow to encourage or incentivize them to grow hemp instead of growing corn that is actually bad for the soil. And I see that tokenization would be a really good incentive for that, or one of the good incentives for these farmers as well, right? And also the government, like I'm only focusing on Thailand. I can't, think about the whole world, right? And I know that for Thailand, the government really is trying to encourage the farmers to also grow. But I also see that, there could be a player who helps them push that a little bit more. And so I think there's not really something that I worry too much, because I can see that you can grow hemp anywhere. There's so many empty fields everywhere. There's so many corn fields. Like, why are you growing corn and feed the animals to feed us? Like, it's not efficient, right? Instead of that, grow hemp, and then you have your products right away. Yeah.
Okay, everyone. Thanks a lot, Natasha. We had heard earlier today a use case about KlimaDAO, for example, where a project, a collective of people used different ways to incentivize people to lock up carbon tons, so to drive up the price of what pollutes the environment. And this is the same mechanisms. I think in the future we will see different projects will think about ways to make growing hemp, you know, economically more favorable than growing something such as corn. And obviously on the bigger scheme of things, we need to figure out what would be a balanced portfolio of growing products that regenerate soil, that kind of give us the base for more harmonious living between nature and humans. So thank you very much for sharing your perspective today, and hopefully we can welcome you to Unit Masters Cohort 8, so you can go through the journey and learn all this blockchain ABC that might feel a bit overwhelming, but in the end would be super important to enter the borderless economy, or the stakeholder economy of the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Yip. Thank you, everyone.